Hey, I'm Jason from Fuzzlord Effects, and this is the Fuzz Life podcast. We're trying something a bit different today, and I'm hanging out with Ed today.
Nice to finally be introduced. How are you doing today?
Good, man. If you are just meeting Ed for the first time, he has built quite a few of your Fuzzlord pedals. So he showed up today and had a pretty cool idea for a podcast episode. Do you want to give us a little rundown, dude?
So I was thinking it'd be nice to just talk about music we've been listening to. Every week we get together to work on pedals, and I'm always like, hey, I bring up a song or you bring up a song. We listen to a lot of music together, and I'm like, why don't we focus this into something that we can talk about the stuff we listen to for other people to hear?
Yeah.
Expose people to new music that they might want to check out, or older music classics they want to check out as well. So.
Cool. And then I think we talked about that it was like more like 4 heavy ones and then maybe one outside of the metal genre.
Just kind of something, what you've been listening to that's not heavy. Something, pop or jazz, something, outside of the wheelhouse of normal, what you think of when you see guys like us.
Awesome. Awesome, dude. And then last night I had a pretty sweet night. I got a bunch of chicken wings and parked at the top of Skinner's Butte. Where everyone was like partying like crazy. So I think the theme today, following that up, was heavy ones.
Just gonna try to get a little bit heavier each time, or are we just gonna?
Well, I think part of it's gonna be that we have some chicken.
Oh, that's right.
We don't have enough for one for each riff, but I think next time we're definitely gonna get more chicken.
Little spur of the moment. This is a idea that's kind of sprung to life 2 hours ago.
So we decided that we were caught up on pedal building. The new FW70 Fuzz is about to come out just in a couple days. I'm finishing up a demo for that.
Very sweet, very loud.
When you showed up and started working here, you walked in and saw that hidden away on the shelves.
Caught my attention right away. It's very, very eye-catching.
Yeah, the artwork on this one is one of my favorites so far. So, do you want to start this one off, Ed, with a heavy ones riff?
Sure thing. So, I think the way I'm going to start off, I recently have been watching more new music videos, and one of the videos I've seen recently that really caught my eye was Bonus Ambulance by Party Cannon. Party Cannon are slam death metal, brutal death metal, whatever you want to call it. Very low thought put into the sound, just kind of there for the groove. The song in question, I choose it mostly because the music video is exactly the type of stuff that I like to see in music videos. It's horror themed, but it's so low budget, it's so silly. It's very clearly a couple of dudes hanging out in a cemetery filming a heavy metal video about a demon killing some dudes. And it's so silly, it's so much fun, it fits the Party Cannon aesthetic. This is, like I said, this is how I like to see metal more taken less seriously in general. I've listened to this a few times, and that's what, like I said, mostly I listen to this type of stuff in the background just to kind of less thought. A lot of music I listen to is more technical, more progressive, so I like to pay attention to it. And sometimes it's nice to just zone out and listen to something that's smooth brain caveman music.
I'm digging the smooth brain caveman vibe. So what's the deal with slam death? I don't understand what makes it slam.
A lot of chromatic, slow, sludgy breakdowns. Very dun 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 dun, and less melody and just pure rhythm. And the songs are, instead of building up to a breakdown, it's just breakdowns to get to breakdowns to more breakdowns.
All the breakdowns.
Just all breakdowns all the time. A lot of guttural, a lot of, like I said, I don't want to say stupid because that sounds pejorative, but this is not artistically, this isn't going to be like getting played in like orchestra halls or anything, but it's fun. And that's what sometimes it's just supposed to be fun.
I feel like it should be, man.
Yeah.
I feel like this is pretty high art right here.
Yeah. Like I said, they took what, $1,000 and they got a music video out of $1,000, it looks like.
Was that the budget?
I don't know. I'm just saying it looks like it's the budget. But again, that's all the better. Like they look like they got a Halloween makeup kit and put it on the demon guy to make him look like a proper demon, and it worked.
I'm digging it. If when you're watching this, if you have some songs that you've been listening to lately, drop them in the comments. We're both really interested to hear what you've been listening to lately. Party Cannon, Bonus Ambulance is definitely doing it for me, dude.
Yep, a lot of fun. Just slasher villain stuff. It's awesome.
Speaking of fun, I feel like I should tell you more about my night. It started off with, I want to keep listening to that, man. That looks like pretty freaking awesome. With the running shoes in the video. We should be running a video of this song on the screen right now. So the night started off with 10 chicken wings in my car, no napkins involved, parked on the top of Skinner's Butte, and like everybody was blasting their subwoofers and rolling fat blunts.
You might want to Skinner's Butte for those who aren't from Eugene, from the Emerald Valley.
So Eugene, Oregon, Skinner's Butte is like the top. Well, what is it? It's a butte.
It's a butte.
There used to be a big cross up there.
It's more of a hill.
It's more of a hill, but you can like overlook the city. And you never told me, dude, that is where everybody gets lit.
It's a party place.
So I'm not currently smoking the devil's lettuce, but everyone else was, and I just felt like I got to get included by just smashing chicken wings.
Mind altering in some way.
It was mind altering in my own way. I was like happy that everybody else was blasting music with their subwoofers, trunk open. It's like a little mini car meet kind of thing.
Right.
I saw somebody in the car next to me that each person in the car had their own joint going. So I think next time I go there, I want to put a little sign in my window that says like, "We'll roll your blunts," because I'm kind of the roll master. So that was the beginning of the night.
Where'd you go from there?
It ended with shotgunning. Shotgunning White Claw.
You told me about this earlier, and I'm like, no. Oh, it's a bad idea.
Horrible idea. It wasn't my idea, but I had to like go along with it. Shotgunning cold White Claws. The carbonation was intense. So that's kind of how my night went in like a nutshell. And then following up today with the podcast and chicken wings. I have a girlfriend now. It's like official. Gonna leave her name out of it.
The Fuzz lady.
The Fuzz lady. It was her idea. So if she wants to shotgun White Claws, I am not saying no. I just make it happen.
You didn't learn from your mistake. Just gonna keep doing the same thing.
Yeah. I would definitely do it again. So is it my turn to drop a heavy one's riff?
I think so. I'm interested what you got.
I got 5. We both got 5 songs pulled up that we wanted to share. I want to start with, that's Jimmy.
The Hound of Doom.
The Hound of Doom in the background, snooting it up. He has been showing us all his different toys today. So I want to start with Dope Throne. I might leave the audio turned down. Well, or we can just blast it over it. I'm not really sure how we should do that.
Again, figuring it out as we go along.
Yeah. So I want to start with Dope Throne, the song Snort Dagger. A lot of people comment like, hey, is that like an Electric Wizard reference or something?
The band name Dope Throne?
The band name Dope Throne.
I kind of assumed it is.
It is, but I think it's like they did a Dark Throne reference too. I
didn't think about Dark Throne.
Yeah.
See? Yeah.
So they had the album Dark Foil. They got a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff. They're from Canada. I think they're like one of the best
They're unique.
They're unique.
They don't sound like an Electric Wizard cover band. And that's what, no offense, I love the Electric Wizard cover band thing, but a lot of the bands in this genre,
They be doing that.
and that's, again, that's fine. I love it. I'll listen to that type of music all day long, but it's nice to hear something that sounds fresh.
I think they're better than Electric Wizard.
I'm not going to comment that because I don't want to get ripped apart.
You can quote me on that.
You heard it.
They're better than They're heavier than Electric Wizard. So this is Snort Dagger, one of my favorite songs. It is a bouncing ball sing-along video song that may be about... It's got lots of snow in it, but I think the song is it's a snort and sing-along music video.
Snort-along.
It's a snort-along. So it's a little bouncing ball music video about doing speed. So they don't go for like the wizardy, like fantasy stuff. They're just more like direct and to the point. One of my favorite songs of theirs is about smoking resin as like a ritual.
Yeah.
So let's check out a little clip from Dope Thrones, Snort. Resume snorting in 1 second. Is one of my favorite songs by them.
Yeah. They're one of the bands that I really need to listen to more. I am guilty that I use Spotify for the majority of my music listening. I don't think they're on Spotify. And that's
No, they're specifically not on Spotify. They're anti-Spotify, anti-YouTube, anti-pretty much everything.
I respect it,
But they're pro-speed.
so
Enjoying some Canadian landscape. I really hope that they come down to Oregon sometime and play. I would really like to see them. So, Ed, if you were setting up a concert for them, it was Dope Throne. Who else do you pick to play with them?
That's tough. I mean, it's hard to not say just like something like the more harsh side of stoner metal, something like Weed Eater. Like I think that like
Hell yeah.
yeah, like that more screamy. The vocals are more hardcore in nature.
Yeah.
And that kind of fits the really raw sound that Dope Throne puts out anyway. Like yeah, it's all very caustic, and I think that's might turn off a lot of people, but that's also, the genre's not supposed to be pretty.
That's why I like it.
Yeah.
Because it's like somewhat offensive.
It's real, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you uncomfortable, and art should to some degree make you uncomfortable.
Do you put this up there with like high art kind of stuff?
I mean, it's maybe not high art. I don't know if I'd put, again, like I was saying with Party Cannon, not going to be rocking it in an orchestra hall, but this is definitely more artistic than a lot of mass-produced music, and I mean, even it's more artistic than a lot of, like I said, a lot of the heavy metal music that sounds very samey. This is more creative than. He's just snorting away, man. He's just going at it.
I dig it. I definitely...
Lines in the road.
None of that for me, and I don't recommend anybody else does that, but you do you, boo-boo.
Yeah.
They had a new video that came out a while ago that they got.
The Maggot video?
The Maggot video that wizard guy?
Yeah. The Elder.
The Elder. He stopped making videos, and I got so
R.I.P.
sad.
Miss you, homie.
Like, that was like one of those things that I got super excited about, like 2 a.m. and sent you a bunch of clips about.
Mm-hmm.
So that is Dope Throne. They go harder than the whole album. That diesel taste.
Oh, no.
Well, that's what I've been listening to lately.
Yeah?
We played along that riff. This is that riff that we played a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It kind of has that High on Fire, 10,000 Years slidey, lefty-righty chord vibe.
Like a slither. It moves.
It slithers.
Yes, which
And
I love.
It's way harder to play than you would think.
because you got to get the feel of it instead of like you can learn the notes all day long, but it's really about the feel.
So that is my first of the 10 heavy ones contributions, and then I think maybe one more song after your song. I might tear into that chicken.
Go for it. Whatever.
You're up, dude.
Let's see. What else do I got? So, dialing back the heaviness a little bit, one that I've had stuck in my head off and on for months now, like 3 months now, is Vessel by the band Infected. I believe they make music that's associated with video games.
Okay.
And that's how I found them. Is I watched competitive StarCraft matches, and this was the introduction, like before every match. This was what played as like they're setting the players up. So I got to hear it about 1,000 times, and at some point I was like, you know what? I like it. It is alternative metal. It sounds very much like the stuff from the 2000s that I grew up on as a teenager. It has got some truly scorching guitar work. I'm gonna go ahead and
Cool.
Like I said, it's apparently from the game Dead. They made it to be for the game Dead Space, so it's about the game Dead Space, which I played the first one. Very, very scary game. I don't know if you. I think that's
No, I don't. I'm like we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. I'm not super well versed on the video game.
at least the newer stuff.
Yeah, just the newer stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what's funny is this is almost a 20-year-old game now. So there's kids out there who are like,
seriously?
Yeah, who were like, I was in kindergarten when Dead Space came out. I'm like, my God, I was a freshman in college. So yeah, it's it's got melody, and that's what the part they play for every song is part of it's the chorus, and so I would just find myself every day after we'd watch a couple matches, I'd just like walk around and I'm like, what is this song? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's the intro music.
So what game?
So they wrote it for Dead Space, but I associate it with StarCraft, which kind of that scary sci-fi.
So that was a game I played as like 11-year-old.
Right. The perfect age to be.
Yeah. Summertime at Nick Marrow's house. His mom was at work, and we got to just like eat Hot Pockets and play StarCraft all day.
Yeah.
I need a time machine, bro.
That would be. You can't go back. It's just online gaming. Like back in the day, like playing StarCraft with people, you actually had to get to know them a little bit. And nowadays, it's all anonymous matchmaking. Is it? Yeah, which leads to less of a gentlemanly. It feels like you're playing against a computer when you're playing against a person. It's not the same.
I'm digging this.
Yeah, that's why scorching guitar like that riff, the tapping riff is like sounds simple, but that is actually like. At least it's I could hear this on the radio, and that's why I again, as someone who listens to a lot of very heavy metal, occasionally it's nice to hear something with melody that has a chorus that gets stuck in your head, and I think that's
for sure.
We like to dunk on pop music. I think as a people who listen to heavy music,
right?
You gotta have stuff that's enjoyable. So.
I'm digging this one.
Yep.
I was talking recently with somebody about this is gonna be an unpopular opinion, but I want to hear a doom metal song that has auto-tuned vocals just to hear it.
Oh, you probably have and don't even know.
That's
the really insidious thing. And I'm not one of those guys who's like, oh, auto-tune's evil, but that's the real insidious thing is when you don't realize it's there.
I want like full blown like T-Pain.
You want T-Pain?
I want T-Pain collab with
Hammer Smashed Face.
I can see that T-Pain with Cannibal Corpse.
They're both from Florida.
That tracks.
T-Pain means Tallahassee Pain.
That tracks, dude.
So that's Tampa. There's something there, guys. Make it happen.
I got to see Cannibal Corpse recently.
Really?
I saw the neck action in full freaking swing. Cannibal Corpse, Obituary, and Amon Amarth.
I forgot they were at that show. I remember you talking about Obituary and Amon Amarth so much. I forgot that they were opening for Cannibal Corpse, weren't they?
It was Obituary first, then Cannibal Corpse, then Amon Amarth. And Amon Amarth had like 3 different set changes where they like did their different like blow up Vikings and dragons, and like they played like 4 songs, and then the things deflated. I was like, damn, that was a short set. But then the lights went off, and like within like 2 or 3 minutes, they had full on different dragons. Like, I was really impressed.
Pyrotechnics and stuff too?
I don't think there was no pyrotechnics, but the drummer had this drum riser that was like a whole Viking head that had like light up eyes that were like LCD screens with like fire in them. They like changed out through the show.
That's so cool.
And the thing that I thought was the coolest about that show was it was like a really big stage. And you know how sometimes you're like on the left side of the stage or the right side of the stage, and you only get like the one person in the band.
Right.
They came over, and like the singer like went to the right side of the stage and like sang for everybody, and then the bassist and then the other 2 guitar players like lined up behind him.
Right.
So they did like every different like spot on the stage and gave every little crowd their own little performance. I like smaller venues because, you know, very intimate, but that's one thing I love about a big venue is when the band can walk around and like actually like pay attention to the different sides like that. So I love that. Speaking of small venues, dude, this next song is a band you turned me on to, and I feel like we'll bring the song up, play a little clip from it so everybody can get the vibe. Then we can talk about the concert, because the concert was amazing.
That was about a month ago now, right?
About that, yeah. So my next pick is Rickshaw Billy's Burger Patrol, the song Body Bag. Jimmy, my wiener dog, loves this song because I redo the lyrics as puppy bag.
He thinks it's about him.
You gotta put it in a puppy bag. A puppy bag. Don't drink my coffee, bro. You definitely don't need this.
He doesn't need that.
So let's check out. Oh, shoot. This is just the song. So we'll cut and play a little bit from the video.
Maybe find like live footage for that.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be because we're going to talk about a concert. I doubt we can find live footage from the concert we went to, but.
Man, that was a really good concert.
It was so good.
It's
my second time seeing them. I think it's the second time they've come to the West Coast, and I've made it a point to.
So one thing I liked about the band and the show is the guitar player has freaking sick dance moves.
He gets down.
We're checking it out right now. He wears his guitar really high, which I'm a high guitar dude. And he plays a 7-string, right?
8-string. 8-string. Yep.
But the bass player plays a 4-string bass. What's up with the drummer's belly tattoo?
You know, there's some discrepancy here. I think it says double bass. That's what I'm pretty sure it says double bass, but it might say double beef.
Double beef, and I saw it said double bath.
Which double bass, you know, as a drummer makes sense. Double beef as you know, a burger themed band makes sense. Double bath as a big hairy sweaty guy, that also makes sense sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get out of the shower and you're like, you know what? Let's do that again.
If anybody can clarify, or if you've seen Rickshaw Billy's Burger Patrol, I'm curious to know where you saw them at. We saw them up in Portland. You turned me onto this band, and I'll admit that at first, I did not like them very much.
I didn't like them at first either. It's the first time I heard them, which Cincinnati Tilt was the first song for me, and I was like, I don't think I could hang out with these guys. It's just wild. It's rambunctious, but the vocals grow on you. It's his voice is so unique, and yet now like 2 years later, and I'm like a huge fan, and I love his vocal style.
For me, it was the vocal style that really threw me off, because this is like doom wop music. His voice is like really high, but I think like the reason it was kind of hard for me to listen to at first because it's so incredibly different from the genre.
Yep.
And then that's why I loved it. And there was like one song where I think he's like DIing and like not using a cab stem.
Something like that. It's gnarly.
The tone pissed me off at first. But then after I listened to it again later in the day, I was like, oh my God, this is like actually pushing my boundaries of like what guitar tone is.
Making you uncomfortable.
So let's check out some live footage clips. I also got a picture of me with a drummer, with his. I totally wussed out. I was gonna pull my shirt off too, because I got Fuzz Life tattooed across my belly. I just wanted to be matching belly tat bros, but I didn't really know him. And then someone else was like, "Oh, you guys are like friends?" I'm like, "No, I just walk up to people and."
This man is very friendly with people in public. I'm a very introverted, shy person, and we've gone out to eat after work a few times, and he's just like, "Hey, random stranger, how are you doing today?" And I'm like, just hide me.
Yeah, dude. I like to talk to people. I don't know what it is. And I got a thing for knowing people's names. So a lot of people don't even know my name, and I go to different places and I know their name. It's because of that Willie Nelson book I read about his little quotes. One of which was like, if you remember people's names, they'll remember you. And then one of the other ones was the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets that cheese.
See, my dad told me early bird gets the worm, but the really early bird gets nothing and goes home tired.
That's how I felt this morning, dude, at the crack of noon. So that's Rickshaw Billy's Burger Patrol. How about a piece of chicken to celebrate burgers?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
That's good thematics.
And this can be half cut, half not cut. There's a plate there if you want it.
How do you want me to do this?
I don't know.
Pour them out? Just pour them out. Yeah, there we go. Look, big old plate of chicken. It was fresh earlier. But again, this wasn't a grab some chicken and we'll do a video. It was, hey, I'm grabbing some chicken. You want me to grab some? And then I get here and it's like, hey, let's make a podcast today.
Yeah, and this sounds so much better. Because we're caught up on pedal stuff.
Which is a good feeling.
Which is a good feeling. And then, I don't know. This just sounded like a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it so far.
Hell yeah. So we'll smash some chicken and then carry on with, I guess will be your third song? Mm-hmm. Okay. So next time I can totally hit up Tiger Mama, which is this Korean restaurant in the Whitaker, because they got 10 packs of spicy chicken wings, 10 riffs, 10 wings, just like hot ones.
For, again, non-Eugenians, the Whitaker is like that's the cool neighborhood in town. That's where all the hip bars and barcades and stuff are.
I was there last night, grabbing said chicken wings before going to Skinner's Butte, and I was at the bar, and they had this little pink frog, dude. This little pink frog in a box on the bar, and I was like fixated on it. Apparently it's a mascot for soju. And then I went on this big spiral of like shopping for them. That was like a $300 mascot because they had the giant one. So if anybody wants to get me a birthday present in September, pink soju mascot frog. So I'll settle for the little ones. Thank you for bringing chicken.
No problem.
This made my day, dude.
You've bought me lunch so many times. I'm like, least I can do. Grab a couple chicken strips for you.
Okay, that's still going. You want to pull up your next song?
Sure.
While you're doing that, maybe people could drop a comment or send it telepathically directly to my brain about what you've been listening to.
Okay. Well, I think I mentioned, at least to Jason. Jason knows this, that my favorite band is Nile.
Yeah.
And they recently released a new single for their upcoming album. The album, The Underworld Awaits Us All, which, great title. The song, the very succinctly titled Chapter for Not Being Hung Upside Down in a Stake in the Underworld and Forced to Eat Feces by the Four Apes.
Okay, run that back one more time.
Chapter on not being hung upside down on a stake in the underworld and forced to eat feces by the Four Apes.
So they got a thing for really catchy, memorable song titles.
Yes, they're all very, very easy to remember.
And they're from South Carolina, right?
They're from my home state.
They're from your home state. Sorry.
I was going to say, for me, when I was a teenager, I went to see these guys just on a whim. And I was like, oh, hey, this is really heavy music, having no idea that Nile are, like, one of the, like, big bands in death metal. Like, I didn't know that I was seeing, like, a legendary death metal band. I was, like, 2004?
Yeah.
So I'm like, now I'm like, yeah, they're one of the big names in the genre. They're so respected. I had no idea when I saw them when I was a teenager. So.
And then remind me, what's the South Carolina way of life catchphrase?
Living good's the best way to live.
Living good's the best way to live.
And that's, sometimes you just gotta let go of everything that's bothering you. You just gotta go down to the lake, throw some rocks on the water, watch the ripple.
Or up to Skinner's Butte with a 10-pack of chicken wings and no napkins while everybody's blasting subwoofers, and you just saucing your face up. I had to comb out spicy chicken wing sauce out of my beard this morning. Okay, chapter for not being hung upside down on a stake
in the underworld and forced to eat feces by the 4 apes.
I don't really want that.
Dude, the name of the song is so long that YouTube just shortened it to chapter for not being upside down on a stake. They just, on Spotify, it plays half the song title and just gets up. It's ridiculous to the best degree.
I like their videos.
Yeah, this one, it's green screen, but with like epic Egyptian imagery. It does what it needs to do. It's a backdrop for some epic, awesome guitar playing, some insanely fast drumming. Brian Kingsland, their dedicated vocalist on the album, he plays guitars, but he's not a touring member of the band. So on the album, the vocals on the album are different from the vocals live. He's a killer. He is an absolute insane guitarist. Also from South Carolina.
Okay.
But he's a full-time dad, I believe. He can't get away on a tour because he's got a little baby to take care of, and I can respect that. I think that's a good reason not to tour.
For sure. So. And then we saw, well, you turned me onto this one. Carl Sanders, the guitarist who's like your guitar hero.
Yep.
Was on Rigs of Death Metal recently.
Shout out to that.
Yeah. And Carl, well, they just talked about gear for like a good hour. Mm-hmm. And Carl's like the chillest dude ever. It's
so, even when they're talking gear, you get you get his philosophy, you get his approach to life. Even he's talking about gear, and it's so, you think that he's talking about living life.
Yeah. I watched the whole thing at night, and I caught that he would not say anything negative about anything. He put a positive spin on anything he talked about, which is really cool to see, especially in death metal music.
Yep. Very, very negative scene sometimes, and so to have someone who's very positive. Here I am being negative about the negativity of the scene, but yeah, like I try to not say bad things about people if I can't. As I said earlier, I don't want to say stupid as a pejorative, but I'm like, I mean stupid as a compliment in that case, because it's, and that's what, a lot of that comes from this man being so chill, such a friendly, outgoing guy. I wish I was like that. I'm not, but I wish I was.
You are really good about being like that, dude.
I try to make people feel like they're not judged by me. That's one thing. I don't want people ever feeling like I am judging people or thinking less of them or trying to... I try to keep it very real.
You didn't judge me when I sent you a picture of me with a bottle of wine and had just blown up a kiddie pool right here in the garage and didn't tell me that it was a bad idea.
I thought it was a bad idea, but I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I was just in my mind, I'm picturing Tuesday morning with mop buckets out here and, just, moldy wood panels for the rest of all time. And I'm like, you know what? It's your life, Jason. It's your life.
It is. But my little ADHD hamster brain found something else to get focused on like 10 minutes later.
For the best.
Yeah. It is going down, though. I do still plan on having my kiddie pool floaty hot dog barbecue party in my backyard and watching a movie on projector. this is a good video.
Yeah. I can't tell you, like, I don't think there's like a story. It looks like there's some kind of Egyptian monster alien thing on a pyramid. But again, it doesn't have to tell a story. It just has to be cool. It just has to be metal.
And that's something we've talked about quite a few times of like music in general. It's kind of how I think about tattoos, which is why I have debatably silly bad tattoos sometimes. Some would see them as that way. But sometimes you get kind of caught up on that everything should be serious or like this big artistic thing. And sometimes it's awesome to just have fun and not overthink it.
You know, going back to Rickshaw Billies, that's what sold me on them, is when I realized these guys, they're not taking it seriously at all.
Mm-mm.
So,
and I love them for that.
Mm-hmm.
Double bath or double bass?
I like double beef.
Double beef.
So double beef. I my gut says it's double bass because, you know, but man, double beef would be, that'd be a pretty good tattoo. As a big dude, it's double beef on your gut says that's a commitment to the lifestyle.
He was the happiest drummer I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. During one of their songs, he made eye contact with me because he saw me singing along, and I think he had a moment of like realizing that there's a fan in the audience who's not just familiar with the music but knows the lyrics.
They know you,
and
they know you when you walked in.
And that I think, like I said, he made eye contact with me and kind of smiled. I was like, that made me feel pretty cool to be like, I'm a fan.
You talked to them before the show for a little bit, didn't you?
Yep. I kind of talked with Leo, the guitarist, kind of talked with them when I saw them before, being, you know, let them know how much I appreciate their music and appreciate them finally working their way out to the West Coast, because there's other bands who are way bigger than they are who have never made their way out here, and this band, they managed to make their way out to the West Coast and put on a good show for us. And
the one thing I really liked about the show is a smaller venue.
Yeah.
There was like a mosh pit, and there was a mosh pit, but it wasn't like too hardcore. People weren't like crowd killing and stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody at the front of the stage was having fun. I noticed that there was like a lot of women at the show.
A lot of ladies.
That were like up in the front and stuff. So I just felt like everybody was being really cool with each other.
It's one of the chillest mosh pits I've ever seen.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Which is, chill and mosh pit don't go together, but it did here.
So my next one, I've been on this like Electric Wizard kick lately, but not Electric Wizard. So this one doesn't have a cool video that goes with it, but we're going to check out Mephistopheles. They're from Argentina.
I was going to say, they're one of the South American bands you've put me on to.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is, man, but in Argentina, like evil, satanic, wizardy, witchy, doom metal is a big thing down there.
Right.
So I think they're from Buenos Aires. And then ZZ Corpse does a bunch of their artwork. That's the dude that did the new FU2 pedal artwork.
Okay, yeah.
Can't show it to you on camera because it's like quadruple X rated.
It's 72.
Mephistopheles is like definitely Electric Wizard inspired. Plays a 3-piece band. A lot of the recordings are done live. And this just kind of comes back to like, I think they're very original in their own way.
Right.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with being inspired by like Black Sabbath, Electric Wizard, stuff like that, and just rocking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that it allows for, it's a comfort zone type thing where you know that the riffs are always going to be groovy, and that, like I said, I have no problem with there being thousands of bands who sound like Black Sabbath, who sound like Electric Wizard, who sound like Sleep, because, I mean, that's, if you want to go to a show and hear something like that, it's always going to be good. It's always going to be fun, even if it, like I said, it might be derivative, but like, that's fine, man, because it's our style, it's our genre, it's what we like.
Yeah.
So
it's like if you like pizza, and then someone gives you more pizza,
Right.
Why would you complain? So we don't got videos of Mesocephalese. Muffafalis. Speaking of Muffafa, I had a muffaletta sandwich in New Orleans recently, and it was delicious.
Okay.
It's like olive salad. You already know, right?
I'm familiar with them. I've never had one. They're quite pricey, aren't they?
I paid $30.
$30.
And it was a sandwich like this. It was like this big.
Yeah.
So like each quarter was like a meal.
Right.
Like a sandwich on its own. From Central Grocery in the French Quarter in New Orleans.
Nolans, y'all.
I'm trying to remember some like highlights of my New Orleans trip, but I kind of drank a lot.
I was gonna say I think some of what happened might not be appropriate for the radio.
Yeah, not really.
But that's fine.
What is appropriate? I went to Cafe Du Monde. I ate beignets and I choked on the powdered sugar. There was so much. I forgot you're not supposed to breathe.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff, I'd imagine.
I gave a little piece of my beignet to a pigeon that was hanging out under my table. Drank coffee. What else did I do? I went to Marie Laveau's voodoo shop.
That's right. Didn't you go to see some tombs?
Yeah, I went and visited Marie Laveau's grave. Like her tomb, sorry. You want to explain the difference between a graveyard, a
cemetery, and sepulcher. It's a graveyard is specifically attached to a church. We were talking about this before the show began. A graveyard is attached to a church, so it's the graveyard of the church. A cemetery is public, private, just normal, where you think of a cemetery, where people are buried. And then a sepulcher is, if I remember correctly, it is a cemetery that is made specifically with above-ground tombs and mausoleums for the water table. So that, like, New Orleans is an area where they have a very high water table, so the bodies will get real gross and soggy.
Real floaty, real popping through the ground. Zombie.
Yeah, real.
Well, I shouldn't say zombie style.
They all float down there.
They float up through the ground.
Yeah, it's not good. It's like Poltergeist. It's like the pool scene in Poltergeist, man. It's gross. There's real bodies in that movie.
Are you?
Yeah, they actually got like medical cadavers. So like the scene with the pool with the rotting corpses. Oh my
god!
Yeah, boy, she's swimming in a pool with actual they added the rot and stuff, but those are like real skeletons. That's so gnarly.
That's disgusting.
It's a disgusting, gnarly movie. Toby Hooper and Spielberg. It's a good one.
Okay.
Toby Hooper did Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
So it's got that Texas Chainsaw Massacre real, raw, gritty feel, but that's Steven Spielberg. He's a producer. So, getting off topic.
Well, so rewind there. Bodies float going back into the ground.
Yep.
Not floating.
Because you don't want that.
I checked out, two different above ground cemeteries.
Right.
What are they called?
I believe it's a sepulcher. That's what I got to fact check myself because I'm questioning myself, but I believe the term sepulcher refers to like tombs above.
So I didn't know what that was all about. When I thought before that like the mausoleums were more just like a thing for people that just like had money and stuff. I just thought it was more of like people wanted to do it versus like a necessity. And then I found out that it's like natural cremation process. Like you get put in there, it's sealed, and then within 1 year, you're gone.
That's pretty cool.
And I don't think they like prep you in any way. And then those mausoleums, they're meant to be passed down through the family.
Right.
So because I used to be confused to be like, like 10 different names on one tomb. But they just push your remains back, put you in after. But I went and checked out
I hate spending time with my family, so that sounds awful.
That sounds awful.
Sorry, go on.
I went and saw Marie Laveau's tomb, which was really cool.
Yeah.
She was like the voodoo queen of New Orleans. Very powerful woman. So, yeah, I had a really good trip. I got a really freaky tarot reading that kind of hit way too close to home in a bunch of different ways. And it was a good trip. So if you've been to Nolens, I'm curious to know what your haunts are. I definitely went over to the Dungeon Bar. I put $5 in the jukebox, which I think gets you 20 songs. I loaded it up, and I knew I was drunk because I was dancing in the bar, and then the bartender turned the music down because I was getting too lit, like all by myself.
You got Sandman off the stage.
I got Sandman. I felt like
It came out with a hook.
I was like, "Come on, guys!" All right, so your turn, Ed.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. Going back to what started all of this, the impetus of this whole thing was on my way to work today. On my way to build fuzz pedals, which turned out to be making a
Not
podcast.
happening.
Yeah. I discovered a band called Gimli, Son of Gloin, named after the Lord of the Rings character. This is, again, more smooth-brained slam metal. We're tying a theme here because this is slam metal. The name of the album is At Last, Durin's mightiest son returns to the field of battle with axe in hand and glory in his heart. We're going to play the song My Body is Ill-Suited for This Pursuit Across the Plains of the Horse Lords.
You got a thing for
I've
long-ass
got
songs.
a thing for long, stupid song titles. I love it. Again, stupid, not pejorative, stupid in a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So, I'm going to play this. Maybe. The total EP, it's 7 songs long.
Oh, it's 3 more.
Yep, we dwarfs are not made for spring. Or we dwarfs are built for spring, that's what it says. But yeah, that's 7-song EP, 10 minutes long.
Short songs for
Short EP.
I like this song.
They are so committed to the bit. Like the song, everything feels like they thought out a joke and they put a little bit of effort into it. Not too much effort. It doesn't feel over polished. But I love it. I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings, a big fan of fantasy stuff in general, and this does it for me. This is. I guess it's just grindcore musically, but on my way to work, like I said, it's a 10-minute long EP. I listened to the whole. I literally pulled into the Fuzz driveway and listened to the last few minutes of the last song, and I was like, "Cool, finish it." Like the trip to work was done to one EP.
Was that just the whole song right there?
That was one song.
So we're on song 2. Hell yeah.
Yep.
Anything Lord of the Rings inspired is usually good.
Yeah. Victory upon the field of Pelennor is mine. Surely no foe now dares approach the white gates of men. I love it.
I can't help it. I'm hungry.
That's fine. I'm trying to think of something else. So I'm like, I wish I had more to say about this band, but having just discovered them a few hours ago, and that's what I was like, hey, I want to tell Jason about this because it's kind of that weird, goofy, fun thing that I feel like he's a fan of as well. And anytime we find something interesting, we got to share it with each other. And
Speaking of weird, goofy, and fun, it's not called Unhinged Goose Game, but that's what I call it.
that's what it is.
I love that game.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
I just wish you could bite people. I think we might cut. We had 5 songs each. I might cut out one of mine and just leave it because that's your 4th one.
Yeah.
I might just drop my 4th one. How about I do a little quickie 2-in-1-Z. Old Man Gloom, Vipers.
Old Man Gloom. That's Aaron Turner, right?
That's Aaron Turner.
Hell yeah.
They did a performance where they played a live show. I think at the. What was it for? It was at some museum, and they played a concert for Beatles that were breeding. That was the audience, and they filmed it. And then it might have been like what's it called? I can't remember the place. But the people of the museum were like, that was the best possible performance that you could have given these Beatles while they were breeding. So this is like, they're very artistic. Like, seriously. Aaron Turner is a freaking guitar god.
Introduced me to the concept of cascading distortion or cascading gain.
So that was the whole song. It's a little short one. I think I've got one last one to wrap it up. Okay, we'll wrap it up with our out of the usual genre edition. This is another Nolans tribute, another ode to Nola. Which, speaking of Nola, I'm going to go in a couple weeks to go see my tattoo buddy Jacob over in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's from Nolans, and I'm getting my Itchy the cat tat on my chest. I don't know if I'm gonna get scratchy too. I thought about getting two itchies. Just
Itchy and itchy.
Itchy and itchy.
Like I was saying earlier, you gotta shower twice sometimes.
So this is my outside of the genre. Suicide Boys released a new song and a video. This is Thin Gray Line. I really like what they do. People that watch the channel might catch my t-shirts that are like outside of the genre. Every once in a while people notice it and comment like, oh my god, you got this such and show shirt, because they're usually pretty like short run and screen printed. I kind of like the DIY punk kind of stuff that these guys do.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to interrupt. A lot of the hip hop dudes are doing more punk stuff than a lot of the punk stuff I've seen.
Yeah, it's real fast. DIY. All right, this is the new Suicide Boys song video Experience. They're definitely in New Orleans. I think it's really cool that Scrim is sober now. Like you said, that's not easy to do, especially for musicians that made a bunch of music with the aid of substances. I think it's hard for people to relearn how to do that. Like, I know Stevie Ray Vaughan talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
Of like he didn't know if he could play guitar without coke.
Didn't know how to perform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he comes back 10 times better.
Yeah.
So I just watched the interview with Theo Vaughn and the Suicide Boys a couple days ago, and it was amazing hearing them talk about that.
Yeah. Like I said, I personally don't have any struggles with addiction, but having lost some family members to substance abuse, I understand that it is a very difficult battle, and that's why I said I have a lot of respect for anyone who manages to overcome that struggle. So,
For sure.
and especially to still be creative, to not give up, and be, like you said, like Stevie Ray Vaughan, still knowing how to perform. Yeah, it's I imagine that's way more difficult than just getting clean. Like the camo.
The camo.
Oops, excuse me.
I wonder if he's... Well, those must have been sodas he was putting in his jacket. Yeah, I think I'm just happy to see them sober and off of all the drugs and doing well. I definitely struggled with a lot of that stuff when I was younger.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I should or shouldn't talk about that on here, but my early 20s, most definitely, them got out of all that, went back to school and stuff, and ever since then have kept my nose clean, literally and figuratively speaking. What's your outside of the genre, Ed, to wrap this one up?
Oh, let's see. I'm going to go with band artist, I guess, called FM84. This is synthwave, like retro,
Nice.
like, very chill. I think that's about 10 years old. This is one of my, for years now, it's been one of my go-to, just want to relax, feel good music.
Oh, yeah.
It's called DeLorean, which, the car from Back to the Future. The whole album, it's like a 4-song little EP.
Little ep.
Yeah, ep. And it's Back to the Future themed, DeLorean, Out of Time, Los Angeles. Yeah, like I said, it's just nice and easygoing. Again, as someone who listens to an awful lot of blast beats, sometimes you just want to put on some nice, gentle synthy stuff that just makes you feel good. I love the 80s, like the very gated snare. I'm a big sucker for gated snare sounds, and that's love it. And there's a quote I read a few years ago about synthwave. I believe it was the artist Laserhawk who said that he's making music for a time that he doesn't remember in a place that may not have existed. And that's what I love about the genres. It evokes nostalgia for something I don't actually remember. I wasn't alive. I was born in '88, so I don't remember the wild hair metal days of the '80s and all the big synths and Madonna and MTV when it was great. I don't remember all that stuff. I wish I did. And that's why I love this type of music. Synth saxophone sounds great.
Synthy sax.
Yep. So
88. I always forget that I'm older than you.
Yeah, only like what, a year, 2 years?
86.
Yeah, 86.
18. 86.
So. A good year.
A good year.
A good year. Yeah.
I definitely hit the wine too hard this weekend. I put on my vampire shirt with a little frilly ruffle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt good.
That's what I'm kind of thinking tonight might be a drinking night for us. It's my missus and myself. It's our Friday night, and so I'm like, might make a couple mixed drinks. Nothing too crazy. We don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
But
You've been married for how long now?
432 years.
432 years.
Yeah. Since the Holy Roman Empire officiated the wedding, I believe.
Oh, that was one of the first things when I met you I asked you about, because you told me you were married, and I asked you how long you had been married for, which is...
We got married in 2011, so 13
years. Yep. And I asked you the secret to success in that.
Communication. We talk about everything. That's we get home from work and we spend a good bit of time just talking about our day and what happened, and that is, we talk about everything. We're literally before work talking about, we have a friend who his relationship isn't doing too well, and I'm like, well, yeah, because he views the relationship as like someone to have sex with, right, and someone to hang out with when he wants to, and I'm like, relationship is financial, it's emotional, it's physical. There's all these aspects to it. It's got to, like, I view my wife as my best friend, but I also view her as my business partner. I view her as my the person who cleans up after me and the person I clean up after. Like, you
two are cute.
Very, very give and take with each other.
You two have a bunch of really cool things that you do together that is super sweet, and like your 90s movie nights.
Every Friday night we watch a 90s movie.
You got a big list going. And then I think there's also wifey movie pick nights where she gets to pick.
Once a month she gets to pick a movie and I can't veto it. But then once a month I get to pick a movie and she can't veto it. So
okay,
I've been exposed to some of her favorite, more like rom-com girly movies, whatever.
Like which one? Like Clueless or like?
Oh, I love Clueless. That's not one she had a.
That's one of your picks.
Yeah, well, that's not one of my picks. But I just love that movie in general. Yeah. But like Never Been Kissed, The Princess Diaries, Thelma and Louise was one that we rolled that into the 90s, so we timed it up. It was like a 90s movie and a Lifetime pick, so we did
nice
2 for 1. That's happened the same with the male with the guy movie picks. A while back I picked a Hunt for Red October as my pick for manly movie of the month. And it timed out to be just a movie that came out in 1991 at the same time, same week. We were like, well, 2 for 1. So
yeah, you two do a lot of cool things together. And I remember you showed me like your prom picture. Didn't you get voted prom king?
She got voted. No, I was runner up for prom king.
Okay, cool. And then she was prom queen?
No, that was part of why I was like, I don't really want to be prom king.
Oh, okay.
It's like weird to go up there with some random other girl.
It's a combo deal.
Yeah, you would think it's combo, but it's an election. The way they did it was like an election of the student body, and so it was like an elected prom queen and elected prom king, which doesn't make sense. Democracy and monarchy, totally different systems of governance. I don't know who thought that one out, but yeah, I remember just thinking that. So the idea of being voted prom king, and then I have to go up there and pose with some gal that I didn't come to prom with, and I don't really know, and that's weird. High school is weird.
High school was weird, but I think it's cool that you've been
High school sweethearts.
high school sweethearts and happily married for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely. I definitely ask Ed for a lot of advice with.
It's one of the most normal things about me. So I'm an odd, atypical, weird person, but I'm like, yeah, I'm happily married, and I'm like willing to give out like the relationship advice. Like we do normal married couple stuff. So as I said, I think my wife is the most normal thing about me. I said again, I'm not the most heavy metal dude that you'll ever see, but like most people, when they meet my wife, they're kind of taken back. We are the Barbenheimer meme personified, and that's how we've always been. Like in high school, she's into pop music, she's into boy bands and stuff like that, and I'm into death metal.
Nice.
So.
Whoops. Well, this was the Fuzz Life podcast.
That's fun.
Yeah, good idea doing this today, dude. If you want to see more episodes like this,
Let's show this thing off one more time.
let's show this thing off.
Yeah, look at that.
Have to do a little B-roll clip of that. Let us know in the comments what you've been listening to, what you thought of this episode. This is definitely a longer form video than we usually do on the Fuzzlord channel.
Right.
Yeah, so this week the theme was heavy ones.
Right.
We'll see what it is next time.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. The Fuzz Life podcast is on Spotify, iTunes.
Nice again to be introduced to the Fuzzlord fan base. I've been here for 6 months now in the background, and it's kind of nice to finally be,
Yeah, for sure, man.
So
We talk about a lot of fun stuff off camera every day.
Yep.
So this was really fun to share it with other people about the goofy things we talk about.
This is basically normally this is the type of conversations we have while soldering pedals and testing stuff, and
what else did I want to say? Oh, real quick, I'm going to run everybody's names on the screen somewhere. These are all the people that support the Fuzz Life podcast and the YouTube channel via Patreon.
Keeping the lights on.
Oh, that's the best catchphrase for Patreon I've ever heard. Patreon, keeping the lights on. So I really appreciate everyone over there. We do some behind the scenes videos, some Q&A, some pedal giveaways. Just did a prototype pedal of this new preamp pedal that's been brewing behind the scenes.
It's pretty sick.
That's been a fun one. So yeah, just want to say thanks to everybody on Patreon. I'll talk to you in the comments, and we'll see you next time.
Later.